2014 we made the decision to leave Australia and return to our homeland, New Zealand. We found a 25-acre block of land with limited access, crossing a neighbour's farm. With 2 creek crossings and nearly 2 kilometres of steep undeveloped clay track, access was always going to be an issue. The property was steep, facing east, and was covered in regenerating native bush growing over the slips and stumps of early 1900s logging operations. We wanted to create an off-grid, semi-self-reliant, semi-self-sustainable property where we could grow our own vegetables for the table, run a few chooks and ducks for eggs, and maybe a pig or 2 for bacon. We wanted a small, easily heated house, a wood fire for heating, a wood range in the kitchen for cooking and water heating, solar and wind for power, and rainwater tanks for drinking water. We also wanted fruit trees, lots of fruit trees and nuts and berries and any other food types we could get to grow. The grass of the neighbour's farm was a far cry from the other side of the fence, which was steep with plenty of trees big enough to stop a 10-tonne digger and lots of regenerating bush we didn't want to damage any more than we had to. We moved into our eldest son's house as he moved away for work, bought a high-hour digger and an even higher-hour quad. We drew a plan, built an access track and started to build our house. Slowly our house grew, getting a roof, second-hand windows and doors, eventually lining, and with the installation of the fireplace and the starts for our basic kitchen, we moved in. This is our story, 10 years later. What it's like living off-grid in New Zealand. Follow along as we show you how it is for us. The ups and the downs. Howdy, welcome to Lichenrest. I'm Mark.
I'm Barbara.
And this is our life off-grid. We've been doing this here for 10 years now, and all our stuff's getting old. And this is actually what it's like to live off-grid. We're going to be showing in videos what it's like to maintain, look after, and just live a life off-grid. And these are our boys, Max and Odin. Max is just a little over 2, and Odie's coming up 8 months. Must be 8 months now, I guess. That's our big greenhouse and our bigger garden, and the garden shed next to it. This is our Honda 420. It's our go-to tool when it gets muddy or we've only got little things we have to shift around. You might notice the orange power steering doesn't work like being on, because the power steering doesn't work. But other than that, been a pretty good piece of kit, this thing. Come on, Rose. Thank you. This, however, is the best thing I've found for this lifestyle. We maintain an access track through the neighbour's farm. And this track gets us to and from where our cows live. In this case, Barbara's car. We then cross two of these, and that gets us to the end of a very narrow, windy little gravel surface road. Hi!
What are you doing?
So it's very handy to have one of these. This is a Hitachi EX100-5. It was my business digger up until recently, and it owes me nothing. But we couldn't have done it without it, or that first quad. Between them, they got us up there.
This is our second garden. We have two gardens, so that if anything goes wrong with one, there's still food in the other one. At the minute, this one has had some major problems because we've had a possum get in, and you can see there that they've had an absolute ball eating the broccoli. And all the strawberries have been eaten by possums as well. In my greenhouse, I grow seedlings. I'm growing climbing peas, and I do them in a seed tray because we have so many rats and mice here planting them in the garden, they just get dug up again. That's my ginger and turmeric and capsicums. We've got to feed the chickens, don't we? Hey? Feed the chickens this morning. Good morning, ducks. Good morning. Is everybody all right? You are? Good. All lined up, ready for food. This is my daily chore. We're opening greenhouses every morning. The air flow through. Better get a bit of string for that tomato. It's not a good look when they're falling over like that, especially when you're trying to grow that way. No, I didn't tie you up. Why did you fall over? Just didn't feel like staying up.
That's the wind generator taking off outside. At the very end of our road, where our track starts, there was a Class 5 bridge that the council in their wisdom decided to upgrade to a Class 1 bridge. Well, the upshot of that was, by the time they'd built new abutments, it dammed the creek up enough so that it started to wash the banks away. So as you can see here, the fence is just hanging in the air, and that road, that's the road in front of us there, it's just going to wash away very shortly. So just approaching winter, I volunteered since no one else appeared to be interested in doing anything about it. So first job, shift the fence. Normal 7-strand fence. So I've got to take the fence out and get it out of the way. I've got to open a creek up on the other side. You can see the water running down there. So the water can run past, because I don't want to dam it. It'll just make the material I'm going to use soggy. You can see where it's going to wash the road away there. So first up, get rid of the fence. Nothing too big, not with a digger anyway. Out of the way, it's time for me to make a ramp. That bank's about 6 to 8 foot high. I could just jump down there, but you know, I've got to find material. All this material's washed away. So I've got to fill this in, so I'm not trying to lose any material at all. I'm trying to find more so I can make it a decent sort of a fair out bank. First thing I've got to do is clear all the overhanging trees. Clean up any rubbish that's in there, pull out the trees that are stuck under the bridge, and just generally clear the rubbish away. I want to bury that in the corner here so that if the water does get free, it's going to be stuck with all these logs and things, and it should trap more logs and things. It should hopefully stop it eroding any further. I've opened up the far side of the river, tightening up the bank as I've come up, so now I'm just damming the flow, and the river can just start flowing down the far side there. And as I come back, I'll just see how much I can recover and how wide I've got to make it, some idea of the shape I've got to make as I go. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you did, hit subscribe. It's free and it makes it much easier to find us again in the future.